A very good morning to your civics class, dear students. Today we will be studying Chapter 5, Fundamental Rights Part 2. Now in the first part you learnt about the introduction to fundamental rights, right to equality, right against exploitation, right? I hope you remember all that, students. Now in Part 2 you will learn about some more basic rights with regards to religious freedom, cultural and educational and constitutional rights to protect us and enable us to live a good life of freedom. Now, which are those rights? Come, let's find out. Firstly, children, do you know the differences between fundamental rights and duties? We shall see the different fundamental rights and duties provided by the Indian Constitution to us. Okay, watch this video.
Fundamental rights and duties. Fundamental rights. Certain fundamental rights are provided to us by the Constitution of India. Fundamental means something that cannot be taken away from us. Some of our fundamental rights are as follows. Right to equality. All are equal in the eyes of the Constitution. Right to freedom of speech. We all can express our views and ideas. Right against exploitation. Right to follow the religion of choice. People are free to choose any religion and visit any place of worship. Cultural and educational rights. Right to constitutional remedies. Different courts in the country protect our fundamental rights. Fundamental duties. The Indian Constitution also lists down the fundamental duties. Some of the fundamental duties are: we must respect our Constitution and its principles. We all must respect the national flag and the national anthem. All the people of this country must be united and live in peace. We must help the government in our own ways in times of danger. We must treat everyone as equal. We must take care of public property. We must protect our environment. We should not hurt or harm each other. Directive Principles. Some guidelines are also listed by the Constitution. These are called the Directive Principles. The following are assured by the Constitution. People should be provided with all the basic facilities like food, shelter, and medical care. Everyone has a job. The poor should not be exploited in any way. There should be compulsory education for children up to 14 years of age. The Constitution provides these rights and duties for all the people for this country.
Now that you have understood and attentively to the differences between fundamental rights and duties, now we will go into the explanation of this part 2. In this you will learn three main fundamental rights. Which are they? Right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. So I want you to watch this video very carefully and understand it.
Good morning, children. Today we are going to start with a new chapter in civics, that is Fundamental Rights Part 2. In the last video we have seen Fundamental Rights Part 1. Today we are going to look more fundamental rights that are mentioned in the Indian Constitution. So let's begin with the explanation. In the last chapter we have seen fundamental rights. What are they? And which all fundamental rights are included in the Indian Constitution, such as right of liberty, right of equality, and right against exploitation. Now in this chapter we are going to see some more rights, that is right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, as well as right to constitutional remedies. So we are going to get acquainted with these rights and we are going to learn that how these rights are useful to any of the citizens who are residing in India. These are few more fundamental rights that are mentioned in the Constitution. Right to freedom of religion means we are free to select or choose any of the religions as per our choice. We can follow any other religions also. We are not bound to follow only our own religion. And as per our convenience, we can convert our religion also. Cultural and educational right, that means we are having full freedom to celebrate festivals and be a part of another festival also. That is why India is called as a diversified country, and we are free to follow any of the religion or festival as well as to enjoy whatever educational rights are there. One is free to select any kind of profession as per the convenience. Right to constitutional remedies means all people in the law are equal. That means, as a citizen of the country, if you have committed any kind of crime or any kind of unethical activities, you are liable to get punishment. There is no inequality or injustice in any of the punishments that is provided by the constitution or by the law. Right to freedom of religion. We all are aware that India is an important secular country in the world, wherein we are free to follow any of the religion as per our choice or convenience. But you must be curious to know that what all things are mentioned in the Indian Constitution related to religion, isn't it? It is included in our right to freedom of religion. That means we are free to follow any of the religion as a citizen of the country, and we can establish any of the institutions related to religion, and we are free to convert our religion also. No law or no any kind of restrictions are there on the basis of religion. In order to broaden the scope of the right to freedom of religion, two things are not permitted by the Constitution. State cannot impose any kind of religious taxes that might be used to encourage a particular religion. And that is, our Constitution had forbidden these religious taxes. That means no taxes are there based on any kind of religion. Religious education should also not be made compulsory in educational institutions that receive aid from the state. Moving on with the next one is cultural and educational rights. We know that we are living in India and our country is known as unity in diversity. That means we are diversified with different religions, different celebration of festivals, different food styles, different way of living, and so on. But still we are united. That means though we are diversified with our cultural aspects, still we are united. When we talk about India, we know that we are divided into four directions: north, south, east, and west. And when we see the cultural aspects, celebration of festivals, all four directions are having their unique identity. To celebrate these festivals, to have their staple diets and the way of living they are in. So, you may have noticed the differences in different wedding ceremonies that you have attended. It may not be similar if you have attended a wedding of a Gujarati language people, may not be similar to the marriage of any kind of Hindu people. So, all the marriages or all the celebrations may be different, but still we are united. All these things are part of a culture of different communities. And our constitution has given the different communities the right to preserve their cultural uniqueness. That means we can preserve our cultural heritage, and that is our quality. That though we are diversified, but still we are united, and we give equal importance to all the cultural aspects of any part of the state. According to this right, people are not only free to preserve their language, script, and literature, but also they can make efforts towards their promotion, and they can establish institutions for the development of their language. That means they can preserve their cultural, they can preserve their religion, or they can preserve their language by establishing different institutions, and they can promote this feeling of equality and religion among people of their community. So government has not made any kind of restrictions on this. Moving on with the next one is right to constitutional remedies. In case of encroachment of fundamental rights, the Indian citizens' right to get judicial remedies as also a part of fundamental right. That means if any kind of injustice is taking place in the society, then constitution need to look after that and provide justice to people in society. So this is called as right to constitutional remedies. That means equal status in the eyes of law. That means equality should be there in the society. This means the constitution itself has provided for legal remedies, a proper solution to the problem, and through any of the injustice way or incorrect way, we cannot force anyone for any kind of injustice. So it becomes a constitutional duty of the courts to protect the rights of people. Very important that the court should look after the rights of citizens of the country. This means the constitution has itself provided remedies in the case people's rights get violated. That means if people's rights are being misused, then court is having a full approval to fight against that, and proper justice should be provided to people in the society. Sometimes the rights that are guaranteed to us by the constitution may get encroached upon and we are not able to exercise our rights. That means the encroachment of the rights, we are not able to express what difficulties we are facing, and it can lead to a personal harm also. So this is called an infringement of our rights. So the court considers the complaint of a people, and people are having full right to fight against any kind of injustice that is taking place in the society. Here, court takes decision and try to investigate whatever problems or whatever injustice is taking place in the society. And in the case, if it is convinced that the rights have been infringed by the court, or if any kind of injustice is being done to an individual in the society, harming its personal life, its religion, or any other kind of intention that can harm or hurt a people, then court takes a decision and accordingly provide its verdict. That means a court takes decision on the basis of proofs that have been provided for an individual in favor or against. Sometimes the decision may not be in favor of an individual because of the proofs that have been provided. Accordingly, investigation is done and decisions have been taken in the favor of a people, whether they have done a proper or have selected a suitable medium to find justice to their problem. Some instances are mentioned here that a person cannot be arrested without any reason. For arresting a person, it's very important to have an arrest warrant. Without arrest warrant, a person cannot be arrested, and that is a proof for arresting a person. Preventing a person from leaving a village or a town without giving a valid reason. Refusing food, water, or medicines to jail inanimates. That is, if they are not provided properly these basic requirements, then again they are having a full right to fight against the injustice that is taking place on them. Right as constitutional remedy. That means the court is having full authority to issue various kinds of rights in favor of people. That means to provide a justice and to provide equal rights in the society as a citizen of the country. So some of the constitutional rights that are mentioned in here for the constitutional remedies are Habeas Corpus, MANDAMUS, Prohibition, QUO WARRANTO, CERTIORARI. Now let's see the explanation for each of the constitutional remedial rights that have been provided. First one is habeas corpus, that means protection from unlawful arrest and detention. Next is mandamus, the order of the court, the Supreme Court or the High Court. Now we know that there are three levels of court. One is at taluka level, and that is a local court. The other one is Supreme Court, and then is the High Court. The justice provided in the High Court cannot be changed at all because that is the highest authority, commanding the government to perform an action that is its duty to perform in public interest, to find out and accordingly find a solution for people living in the society and providing them justice. Next is prohibition, to prevent a subordinate court from exceeding its jurisdiction. Sometimes the decisions are pending from years to years. If we'll see here also, or if we might have seen in television also, we came to know that the court is having so many cases that are pending from years to years and justice is not being provided. Ultimately, they need to hurry up and accordingly provide the justice for whatever inequality had took place in the society. Next is QUO WARRANTO, to restrain a person from acting in an office to which he is not entitled. That means a decision should be taken, a person who is acting in an office and but he is not suitable for the position. So accordingly justice should be provided. Next is to certiorari, to order the removal of a law suit from a subordinate court to a superior court. Sometimes the decisions have been pending in the subordinate court and may not be provided and justice for that. So in such cases, the case can be moved to a superior court, either Supreme Court or High Court. Now in your textbook on page number 81, one problem is given and accordingly they have asked a suitable solution for the problem. And we need to find out a suitable solution for the problem. So let's see what it is. Is the reaction of this government official right or wrong? They have asked us a question. An officer tells a woman who presents all the documents for getting the benefits of a scheme for destitutes, "You don't look like a destitute," and refuses her the benefits of the scheme. That means here a government official says to a woman that whatever documents are being provided by that woman are not up to the mark and she doesn't deserve to get the destitutes or the benefits of the scheme. By looking at her face, we will come to know that whether she deserves or not, and if her documents are correct, then definitely she is having a right to take benefit of the scheme. So in this instance, do you think the woman's right has been infringed? Where she should go to get redressal? That means where she should ask for justice for her rights. That means she need to go to court to fight for her rights and accordingly even she is suitable to get the benefit of the scheme if she is having all the documents that are required for the submission of that. That means she should address to the court a problem and accordingly find out the solution to the problem with equal justice. We cannot judge a person by its look or by any of the things. If person is correct and person is having all the documents that have been required for any kind of benefit, then a person is having full right to take a benefit of that scheme. The fundamental rights thus are protected by the courts that is mentioned in the Indian Constitution and accordingly it has been followed as a part of law. As a citizen of the country, we are able to exercise these rights because of our constitution and because of the court. They can fulfill their roles as alert, responsible and active citizens as a part of the country. While considering the fundamental rights, it is also important to look after the duties that is individual need to be followed. And accordingly, as a part of the citizen of the country, if we are enjoying our rights or if we are fighting for our rights, it is very important to look after the duties that need to be followed by every citizen of the country. So these duties we are going to see in the next chapter, that is fundamental duties. So we are aware that what are fundamental rights and they are mentioned in the Indian Constitution and accordingly every citizen of the country are enjoying these rights. But we should not misuse these rights for our sake and we should destroy or harm the peace of society. Accordingly, we should take the advantage but it should be in a certain limit. We should not misuse these rights. So here we end up with our chapter. I hope you have understood the video. Thank you for watching the video. Take care. Bye-bye. We'll be meeting in the next video.
Children, I hope you have understood the explanation. Now in the explanation you have seen about the writs. You must have seen and learned about writs. There are 5 writs. Now we will gain some more insight about these writs. Here you will fully understand what is writs. Firstly, the first writ is habeas corpus. What is writs? The definition is written command given by Supreme Court or High Court to private individuals or public body to do something or not to do something. Now the first one, habeas corpus, it means to have a body. Definition: any person who has been kept under any official or private custody, his or her family members can file a writ on their behalf against those who kept him or her under custody, and court will ask them to present him or her in the court. So a video will play, a very interesting video. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it and learn a lot.
हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू माय चैनल गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर। तो इस वीडियो में हम सीखेंगे व्हाट इज़ रिट्स। रिट्स क्या है, देखिए इसकी डिफिनेशन। रिटन कमांड गिवन बाय सुप्रीम कोर्ट और हाई कोर्ट टू प्राइवेट इंडिविजुअल्स और पब्लिक बॉडी टू डू समथिंग और नॉट टू डू समथिंग। देखिए रिट्स बेसिकली होता है हाई कोर्ट या सुप्रीम कोर्ट एक ऑर्डर देती है, एक कमांड देती है। किसे देती है? प्राइवेट इंडिविजुअल्स को भी दे सकती है या फिर पब्लिक बॉडी को भी दे सकती है कि आपको क्या करना चाहिए और क्या नहीं करना चाहिए। वो रिट्स होती है, ठीक है। बेसिकली आपको यही याद रखना है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट और हाई कोर्ट का एक ऑर्डर है, ठीक है। तो इससे इसकी क्लियरिफिकेशन के लिए देखिए मैंने कुछ एग्जांपल भी रखे जिससे आपको आसानी से समझ में आ जाएगा। फर्स्ट हम इसके टाइप्स देखेंगे, ठीक है। टाइप्स ऑफ रिट्स, तो देखिए इसके बेसिकली 5 टाइप्स हैं और थोड़े कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है, इसमें कन्फ्यूजन हो जाता है, मगर मैंने बहुत ही आसानी से ये बताया है जिसके बाद आपको कन्फ्यूजन नहीं रहेगा, ठीक है। तो इसका फर्स्ट है हेबियस कॉर्पस। ये लैटिन वर्ड्स है, ठीक है। तो इसके मीनिंग होते हैं टू हैव अ बॉडी। और सेकंड है मैंडेमस, थर्ड है प्रोहिबिशन, फोर्थ है राइट ऑफ सर्चिररी और 5 है क्यू वारंटो, ठीक है। तो देखिए हम पहले सीखेंगे हैबियस कॉर्पस एग्जैक्टली है क्या, ठीक है। तो इसकी डिफिनेशन देखिए, एनी पर्सन हु हैज़ बीन कीप्ड अंडर एनी ऑफिशियल और प्राइवेट कस्टडी, हीज और हर फैमिली मेम्बर्स कैन फाइल अ रिट ऑन देयर बिहाफ अगेंस्ट दोज हु kept him or her under custody and court will ask them to present him her। देखिए कोई पर्सन है XYZ, अगर उसे कोई अपनी कस्टडी में रखता है, वो फिर चाहे प्राइवेट इंडिविजुअल हो, कोई बिजनेसमैन हो, बड़ा पर्सन हो, या पब्लिक बॉडी, कोई गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट हो या कोई ऑफिसर हो, अपनी कस्टडी में रखता है, अरेस्ट करता है, तो उस टाइम ये उनके जो पर्सन को अरेस्ट किया गया है उस पर्सन के फैमिली मेंबर्स कोर्ट में रिट्स दाखिल कर सकते हैं उस इंसान के खिलाफ, उस पब्लिक बॉडी के खिलाफ या प्राइवेट इंडिविजुअल्स के खिलाफ कि भाई आपने इसे अगर अरेस्ट किया है तो किस बेस पे किया है, अरेस्ट करने के बाद आपने FIR बनाई है, आपने इसे कोर्ट में पेश किया है, नहीं किया है, ठीक है। तो अगर उसको कोई इलीगली अरेस्ट करता है उस पर्सन को, तो इनके फैमिली का ये राइट्स होता है कि वो रिट्स दाखिल कर सकते हैं। ये बेसिकली देखिए इमरजेंसी के टाइम हुआ था, उस टाइम पुलिस वालों ने कई सारे पर्सन्स को, कई सारे XYZ बहुत सारे पर्सन थे, उनको अपनी कस्टडी में रख दिया था। उनके खिलाफ कोई FIR नहीं बनाई थी, उनको कोर्ट में दाखिल भी नहीं किया गया था, बस अपनी कस्टडी में प्राइवेटली कहीं रखा गया था। तो उनके फैमिली मेम्बर्स ने रिट्स दाखिल की थी उस पुलिस वालों के खिलाफ कि भाई हमारे फैमिली मेम्बर्स को पुलिस ने इस तरह से अरेस्ट किया है, कोई FIR नहीं बनाई है, पता नहीं कहाँ रखा है। तो उस टाइम कोर्ट ये ऑर्डर कर सकती है कि भाई आपने अरेस्ट किया है तो किस बेस पे किया है और उनको आप कोर्ट में दाखिल क्यों नहीं कर रहे हो, ठीक है। तो इस तरह से आप किसी को भी अरेस्ट नहीं कर सकते हैं। अगर आप अरेस्ट करते हो इलीगली तो उनके फैमिली मेम्बर आपके अगेंस्ट रिट्स दाखिल कर सकते हैं, ठीक है। तो बेसिकली यही होता है हैबियस कॉर्पस। इसे अच्छी तरह से समझने के लिए देखिए मैंने कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग एग्जाम्पल लिए है। ये देखिए अमिताभ बच्चन है हाई कोर्ट और जया बच्चन है सुप्रीम कोर्ट, ठीक है। ये 2 to 6 और 3 to क्या है, मैं आपको ये अच्छी तरह से समझाता हूँ। इसके लिए आपको देखिए इमेज, देखिए सनी देओल जी की इमेज है फिल्म घायल में की। तो ये स्टोरी आपको फिल्म की स्टोरी आपको यहाँ बोलना बहुत ज़रूरी है, इससे आपको ये कंसेप्ट बहुत आसानी से समझ में आएगा। इनके भाई होते हैं राज बब्बर, तो उनको अमरीश पुरी जो बहुत बड़े बिजनेसमैन होते हैं, वो होते हैं प्राइवेट इंडिविजुअल यहाँ पे, ठीक है, बहुत बड़े बिजनेसमैन, हम उनको कह सकते हैं प्राइवेट इंडिविजुअल। ये इनके भाई को अपने कस्टडी में रखते हैं, पता नहीं कहाँ रखते हैं, किसे कुछ पता नहीं होता है, बस अपने कस्टडी में रखते हैं। तो यहाँ सनी देओल उन्हें बहुत ढूंढते हैं, इधर जाते उधर जाते हैं। तो इस तरह से ये सनी देओल अमरीश पुरी के खिलाफ रिट्स भी दाखिल कर सकते हैं कोर्ट में कि भाई आपने मेरे भाई को क्यों कस्टडी में रखा है, ठीक है। तो देखिए सनी देओल जी क्या कर रहे हैं, वेयर शुड आई गो, मुझे कहाँ जाना चाहिए। तो सनी देओल जी ये रिट्स दाखिल कहीं भी कर सकते हैं, हाई कोर्ट में भी कर सकते हैं, सुप्रीम कोर्ट में भी कर सकते हैं, ये उनका अधिकार है, ठीक है। तो अगर वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट में करते हैं इनकी रिट्स दाखिल, तो वो आर्टिकल 32 में हमको ये अधिकार दिया गया है, और हाई कोर्ट में करते हैं तो 226 में भी आपको ये राइट्स अधिकार है, ठीक है। तो ये होती है रिट्स, और ये होता है हैबियस कॉर्पस, ठीक है, कि आप एक रिट्स दाखिल कर सकते हो इस तरह की, क्या XYZ ने मेरे इस पर्सन को गिरफ्तार किया है, ठीक है। तो इसे और समझने के लिए देखिए फिल्म दृश्यम आई थी, ये एग्जैक्टली इसे समझने के लिए बहुत ही यूज़फुल होगा, एक बार फिल्म देख लीजिए आप। ये एक पुलिस वाला होता है और ये अजय देवगन जी की फैमिली होती है। तो अजय देवगन जी के फैमिली के पास एक ओल्ड कपल आता है और वो कहता है कि ये पुलिस वाले ने मेरे बेटे को गिरफ्तार कर दिया है, कहाँ रखा है पता नहीं है, कोई FIR नहीं है, कोई और कोर्ट में भी दाखिल नहीं कर रहा है, बस रखा हुआ है। तो देखिए आप कोई बहुत बड़े प्राइवेट इंडिविजुअल हो, बिजनेसमैन हो अमरीश पुरी के जैसे, या फिर गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर हो, पब्लिक बॉडी हो, तो भी आप ऐसी किसी तरह की इलीगली अरेस्ट नहीं कर सकते हैं। अगर आप अरेस्ट करते हो तो आपको वो कोर्ट में उसे दाखिल करना पड़ता है, FIR बनाना पड़ती है, आपको बताना पड़ता है आपने किस लिए उसे अरेस्ट किया है, ठीक है। अगर वो नहीं करता है तो उसकी फैमिली जिसे अरेस्ट किया गया है वो हैबियस कॉर्पस, उनको ये अधिकार होता है, वो रिट्स दाखिल कर सकते हैं हैबियस कॉर्पस की के कोर्ट में, और कोर्ट इन्हें ऑर्डर दे सकता है इस पुलिस वाले को कि भाई टू हैव अ बॉडी लेके, मतलब उसकी मारकर से बॉडी नहीं लाना है, कि उस पर्सन को हम कोर्ट के सामने आप दाखिल करो, बताओ इसने क्या गुनाह किया है, क्या क्राइम किया है, ठीक है। ऐसा किसी भी आप बहुत बड़े ऑफिसर होके भी किसी भी अपने कस्टडी में नहीं रख सकते। एग्जैक्टली यही है हैबियस कॉर्पस। फिल्म आप एक बार देख लीजिए, आसानी से आपको समझ में आ जाएगा, ठीक है। तो इसके जो बाकी के 4 टाइप्स है वो भी मैं इस पे वीडियो बनाने वाला हूँ। अगर आपको ये वीडियो अच्छा लगता है तो कमेंट कीजिए और मुझे बताइए कि मैं इसके दूसरे पार्ट्स बनाऊँ, ठीक है। तो थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग माई चैनल। अगर आपको ये पसंद आता है तो प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब माई यूट्यूब चैनल गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर फॉर मोर एंड मोर वीडियो। थैंक्स।